friends, it's Spoilerin time. If you're familiar with Cordkillers, you already know our take on where to watch things, what to watch, and all that stuff. So this is the show where we talk about something we wanted to watch. This week we are talking about the Righteous Gemstones, season 3, episodes 8 and 9. They gave us 2 episodes, so we're going to talk about both of them. Justified, City Primeval, episode 3. Secret Invasion, the finale, episode 6. And if you're like, well, wait a minute, Good Omens came out. Don't worry. We're going to get to that next week. But this week, Righteous Gemstones, Justified, City Primeval, and Secret Invasion. I'm Tom Merritt. He's Brian Brushwood.
Oh, man. The only thing beguiling me right now is what do we start with first?
Praise! Let's start with the Righteous Gemstones. As Brian put it, you can't complain about too many presents. And Righteous Gemstones gave us an hour and 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. I don't know. Gave us 2 episodes, 8 and 9.
Yeah.
It was like Christmas.
Well, and that was a bit of a surprise because our family, we have teenage daughters, 15, 19, and we all gather together. The kids have all gotten caught up. You know, they're at the right age to understand that there's adult themes in Righteous Gemstones. And we were all excited for this one episode. But we're watching it, and we're all tired and ready to go to bed. And I'm like, oh, dear, it looks like there's another episode. And so I did not get to watch the second episode with them because everybody wanted to call it a night. However, I was fascinated by the fact that for the first time, maybe ever, one of those stereotypical Discovery Channel-ish kind of build TV shows appears to be a special on building Redeemer for Danny McBride.
I don't know about you, but the Max app said skip previously on, which I never do. I always like to kind of remind myself and see what they think is important to remember for the next episode. But it wasn't a previously on. It was a promo for the building of the Redeemer. And then we got the actual previously on. So it lured me into watching that.
Which for a split second, I tried to keep the family. I'm like, no, this is a fake out. It's not actually the thing. You don't have to care about it. And then very clearly, instantly, it's like, nope, they also definitely released the finale of the episode. So everybody ran away. So I still don't know what the rest of the family thought, but I was glad that I watched it separate from them because we're going out of order here. I was medium okay with watching Edie Patterson and BJ in a bathtub doing a bit about a helicopter and the controls and seeing what was clearly a phallus being wanged around in a bubble bath. Am I glad I wasn't there with my daughters for the full-on orgy in the finale of this episode.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the bathtub scene was very typical Gemstones. We're like just going to put a toe over the line, right? Because it's a very chaste scene. The bubble, it's like the bubble bath is up at the right level for everybody. And then they break the chasteness with the ridiculous and over-the-top silly helicopter penis, etc.
And it takes a little bit of effort for you to recognize, that's him wanging around an actual phallus.
Especially
or whatever.
I don't know this for sure, but I'm going to guess that wasn't his actual.
I'm going to guess the same. But man,
but yeah,
those were real butts and boobs.
I was like,
for
oh wow,
25 seconds straight
Game
in
of
a
Thrones
gigantic orgy at Y2K.
Yeah. That was in fact, I think The Boys is probably the last time I saw a similar scene.
Yeah. So I'm glad I wasn't there for that. And I believe I was able to text my wife and be like, yeah, when they get to the Y2K stuff, just be ready on that, that skip button.
Yep. But I kept expecting another shoe to drop. And I guess the shoe that dropped was the explosion of Pete out in the forest. But this season ended happier than I thought it would have. And if I didn't know I mentioned this on Cordkillers, if I didn't know they had approved a season 4 and they were telling me like, that's it, it's the end, that's season 3, I would have been surprised that we didn't get Eli's successor named, because we all think it's the grandson, and they certainly did more to set up that belief in this episode. So I would have been surprised about that, but everything else would have felt like a nice way to leave everybody, because everybody was in a good place.
It was a pretty good 1-2 punch. So in the next to last episode, we have the turning against Pete. Was that his name? With the militia, and he's left alone with the son Chuck, I believe. And he seems hell bent on vengeance. And
then they go to the HEB on Oltorf.
Yeah, right. And then
It's totally what that reminded me of.
And then they blow up. And I thought to myself, well, this is irredeemable. This guy is damned. But I was like, but what if nobody died? And then sure enough, nobody died. And sure enough,
I had exactly the same reaction of like, oh man, they killed. Oh wait, no, they didn't. He wasn't in there. But the immediate question was like, well, if he's not dead, then he blew it up and risked the lives of all the people in that parking lot. And then later we get the like, I made sure nobody was around, and then I blew up the truck.
Right. So we have property damage, which we know per the magical rules of this universe, they're able to work on. But let's go back to the next to last episode. That moment where the three, forgive my language, the three dipshit gemstones hold hands and they can't believe how good it feels. And then they raise hands and they can't believe how good it feels. And that moment that the tension, the comical tension between Keith and Kelvin just gets resolved with a fairly chaste kiss. I mean, my whole family went nuts for that. It was great. It was really sweet, I thought.
I was fascinated with the expressions on Jesse and Judy after that kiss. That was some well done acting, because Jesse looks like, well, I knew it. I guess, a cat's out of the bag. Like, you could just read his reaction. And Judy's like, oh crap, they actually did it in public. Look at that. Like, it was so good. It was such a and that's all in slow-mo too. It was well done.
Yeah. And I think there was a BJ moment where he was like, of course.
Right. No, I forgot about
because
BJ.
he's the
You're
ambiguous
right.
one in there. Yeah. And then the last episode, I got to tell you, man, that last scene where everybody pulls out their chairs to watch we don't know what. And then when Pete comes out with missing a leg, it's like, oh, he was a hero. He drove the bomb away, tried to get away. His leg, lost a leg. Of course they would forgive him at this point. I don't know. Yeah, I got a little bit misty-eyed. I thought it was
that's
great.
Why it could have been a finale, right? That could have been the like, see, they're all okay. All's well that ends well, except we all know from that car ride conversation with Eli, oh, you don't want to spend the rest of your life driving your grandpa around, and the answer is a perfect grandson answer of like, well, I could do a lot worse. Well, you could do a lot better too. And very clearly, Eli has some ideas about what that much better could be. And then towards the end of the episode, I think I'd like to preach. Well, there we go. That's season 4, right?
Well, and he doesn't even say preach. He says, I'd like to do what you do. And then before an answer is given, he gets a tug on, there's a distraction. Yeah. But they were pretty clearly setting up Gideon as the prodigal son, from the beginning.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Bryce, how did these last two land with you?
Good. I don't know why they put these out at the same time. That's the thing that confused me, because they don't.
Yeah, I'm puzzled by that.
They don't really go together necessarily. But I thought they were
didn't
good.
Need to be together. Yeah.
What did you guys feel about the swarm of locusts? That seemed a little too. Like, I know we're doing a show about religion, but I think that's the genre where you can't do a Deus Ex Machina, because then you start asking questions.
I had the exact same thought, and then I hit. Okay, you're going to complain about the locusts, but you were okay with the hologram of the dead mom. And I was like, okay, me, good point. And then I withdrew my protest.
You mean in so much as they are both unrealistic?
They are
things?
both equally unrealistic. There are times that
We had
locusts
hologram.
come in 15-year swarms, and it could be interpreted. I mean,
It's a swarm of locusts.
yes, but
Swarms of locusts are a real thing. Locusts aren't imaginary.
correct. Also, fake holograms of Tupac are a real thing. However,
thing.
they're not as simple as they're represented.
Yeah, but like a hologram wasn't in the Bible. Like the locust, like I like.
Sure.
I get that there's like a plausible explanation for it, but it seems
There's some
too
baggage
sweet.
that the locusts were flying in with that the hologram did not have. I'll grant you that.
Yeah.
I immediately thought, well, this is ridiculous. Like, how are you going to explain locusts? And then I too said to myself, well, locusts do happen. This kind of thing has happened. The chances of it happening to the gemstones in Florida in this particular location is probably low. I don't know. Maybe somebody will write in and tell us like, oh no, this happens in this particular area of Florida all the time. It's not unheard of. But it could happen. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to let this one slide because it is at least possible. In fact, it is more possible than some of the things the hologram was doing because they were stretching the technology beyond some of the things that it actually
What is
does
physically
for the sake of
possible?
a joke.
It is
Whereas-
physically possible to have a swarm of locusts.
Yeah, like
it
a
is not
swarm of
physically
locusts-
possible to have Mama come back as a hologram the way they represented it.
Well, yeah, it's a TV show. Like,
Well, yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So, yeah. At which point do you say it's a TV show and allow the hologram, but not the locust? Is the point that Brian is making, and I get that too. I do think it is something you have to swallow, though. You have to swallow a locust to understand that, to allow that one. Yeah.
yeah, it's just
But it also paid off. I think that's what I got more okay the longer it went because I'm like, oh, this is how they're going to, they're going to undo the Montgomerys. Oh, this is how, Pete's going to get forgiven. This, it did take care of a lot of things.
Mhm.
Also, it justified the hurricane cage.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
I wanted to see more of Bible Bonkers. I wanted to see what that
Yes,
second round
I
was
did
gonna
too.
be,
I
but-
really did too. I wanted a full episode of Bible Bonkers.
But you know what?
You and Billy.
That guy died.
You and
so
baby Billy.
they're never going to make that show again.
That show's coming back in season 4.
No
that.
way. That guy got decapitated by that sign.
We're going to have to do some reshoots. That's all.
A swarm of locusts came down and attacked this show. Like,
Yeah, but it won't happen. What are the chances of it happening again, Bryce?
I do agree, Bryce, that it was more than I would like for my tastes.
it's just a
However,
little lazy for writing, but I get it.
Beatmaster's bringing up the bomb tech as well, which, if you're going to pick up tech.
by the way, the bomb tech, when we were dealing with ammonium nitrate and the igniter and all that, I had to pause the show and introduce my daughters to an event that happened a decade before they were born with the Oklahoma City bombing and say, let me explain to you just how real this is and what it could do.
All right. Feels like we were all pleased with the gemstones. Any last thoughts?
Yeah.
Before we bid adieu to them for another year?
real quick, not counting. First of all, are we okay with the breaking of the tension between Keith and Kelvin?
See, it seems like you had to do it at some point.
Yeah,
I was a little surprised that they did it,
I was very surprised.
but I'm curious what opportunities for storytelling that will present in season 4 as they continue to explore hypocrisy, which is what this show does. They now are free to explore that element of the hypocrisy.
What about next season? How much Eli Gemstone do we get? Does he survive the next season?
Ooh. I think we get a lot of Eli Gemstone, but he might not make it out of season 4 alive.
I mean, Bryce.
That's the end of the show, though.
No.
Oh, no, I don't know. I mean,
no.
he was sitting down a lot this season.
Yeah, make it ambiguous whether or not he died or not. Have an event and it's not clear whether or not he died or just decided to leave.
Oh, John Goodman could die, I suppose. Like, that's possible. But if he's not incapable of doing the show, is that what you're saying? You think he's incapable of doing the show next time?
I'm saying,
I thought this was a storytelling question, not a real life.
oh, no. I'm talking about a storytelling question.
Oh.
As a storytelling question, at this point, we've become an ensemble cast, and they made it clear at the end where we have, we're up to 9 characters whose name are not Eli Gemstone, and care about all of them and interested in all of them.
Oh no, yeah, but you have Eli in a lot of next season. At some point he goes, and to me, I don't know that you continue this story after you've resolved the succession, because it is sort of a parody, wacky succession story.
Well, which is why I suspect, just gonna put my prediction in this envelope like a good mentalist should. I suspect they have some conceit where Eli Gemstone leaves, but we don't know whether or not he's alive or dead or ever coming back.
I do not get that. Yeah, I do not get that sense at all. I think it'll be very clearly he hands it over. In fact, in true Gemstone nature, they're going to make it very clear to the audience that he's going to hand it over to Gideon, and then he's going to die, and the kids are going to fight over whether it should be Gideon or not, or one of them.
Huh. I look very much forward to having future debates on this.
Please, everyone, mark the July 31st episode of Spoilerin Time for us to all go, wow, none of us were right. I can't believe it was robots, or whatever it is. That's the Righteous Gemstones Season 3, Episodes 8 and 9. Let's talk about Justified, City Primeval, Season 1, Episode 3. The daughter left?
She leaves. Bye.
I was like, she's going to run away. She's not going to get on the plane. And then there she was getting on the plane.
Hey, kid, you're too complicated for this script, so we got to get you out of here. You're a human-sized plot hole that we need to get out of this environment.
I actually, until you guys just said that, it had not occurred to me that she'll come back as a surprise. Because that's interesting. Okay.
Do you think she's going to come back? Or
well, I mean, according to you guys, it's weird that she left. And so
it is weird that she left because she was only here for 2.5 episodes.
I felt like one of the key conflicts in Raylan's investigation was how to deal with this while he's dealing with his daughter,
which you couldn't possibly do.
And so him sending her home with the, like, you can't send me home. Mom can't take me. Well, that changed. It was like, well, okay. I guess it changed. I mean, I guess they could also have mom go like, well, I can't have her anymore. I'm sending her back to Detroit, but that seems less likely than mom still couldn't take her and he had to keep watch on her because it was such a great dynamic.
Let me pitch this. She actually does go, but then she either steals or borrows a car and drives back because it's not that far from Kentucky to Detroit?
Florida. They're in Miami.
No. They're not in Florida. They're in Detroit.
She's going to Florida.
She's going to Florida. Nobody's in Kentucky anymore.
Okay. But point is, you can get from there to here.
Sure. Yeah.
And so if it is a fake out,
well, I don't know if it was a fake out. I would have expected he turned around after getting off the phone and she was gone. That's what I expected to happen. And they'd be like, oh, great. Now I've got to worry about where she went. But instead, we just see her get on the plane. So either next week we see that she got off the plane, which that would make me go like, all right, it was just a fake out. Or she goes back home, and then I'm not sure why they did that.
I suspect that next episode we will be led to believe that she's totally out of the picture and he could finally work on the job, right?
Yeah.
And then it will be a surprise when she shows up again and is like, yeah, no, I knew that what you needed was for me to be out of the picture. So I got out of the picture, then I hitchhiked on back or what have you.
But then why would she go back?
I don't know. Maybe because she's a daughter who loves her father, says the father of three
But I mean,
daughters.
if she's like, I left because you wanted me out of the picture, but then I came back because
I knew
wanted
you
to be
needed
in the-
me.
Oh, for what?
She was one of the principal actors in the part where Raylan lost his cool and beat up the guy from Logan.
Sure.
So she knows that she has sway. She leaves, goes underground for one whole episode, comes back, shows up, reintroduces herself to bad guy, says, I hate my dad. Let's
she's gonna go undercover and play him. All right.
yeah.
I like it. Yeah. I can see that.
Meanwhile, my favorite moment of this particular episode was the fact that defense lawyer was like, yes, I know he's guilty. Will you please prosecute him?
Do your job
in such a good way that even I cannot stop you. That was amazing. I really
so
loved
good. I actually really love that too, because the lazy writing these days would be to show the prosecutor saying, well, you just don't understand him. There's good in everybody. Instead, she's like, no, he's horrible and evil, but it's my job to defend people. And it's important that I do my job. But if the system works right, it doesn't matter how good a job I do. Guilty people go to jail. So do your damn job and do it right. Don't take shortcuts that I can exploit and get him out. Yeah, it was great. I loved it.
Yeah. Also, what's his name? Smiley, Squinty, Hooray.
Sweetie?
Don't know who's.
Are you
What?
thinking of Sweetie?
Sweetie. Yeah. No, he definitely dies, right?
You think because he's got the gun?
Well,
He's
yes.
yeah.
Also,
I think there's like a 63% chance he's dead.
yeah.
I think there's some good use you could put that character to, and he could surprise us, but
only posthumously.
Yeah, all right. You're saying it's a higher chance. I think you can go almost either way, but it's pretty likely that Logan guy.
I mean,
what's his name?
Bo, the actor
Kendall?
is Bo somebody.
Kendall?
Clement Mansell from
Clement
played by
Mansell. That's the
Boyd.
character's name. Yeah,
That's the
Clement.
character, yeah.
Yeah, Mansell. Thank you.
Boyd Holbrook is the actor.
Boyd.
Doesn't matter what his name is. We're
Boyd.
talking about the character.
Oh, no. I want to become best friends with the actual
Well,
actor.
sure, but
He's
for
amazing.
clarity around the story, we need to use the character names.
Okay, so in order, number of people who could be killed. Off the table is Raylan. Off the table is Raylan's daughter. Off the table is probably Boyd.
You mean Mansell?
Craig.
Clement,
whatever. On the table is defense lawyer.
Yeah.
Sweetie. Sweetie. Who else is?
Cop friend who he's bonding with over being a parent.
Yeah, cop friend who tells him how things are done in Detroit.
Oh, well, I almost feel like he's not worth putting on the table with them, but sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Who else do we have?
Manzel's girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm not.
Sandy.
I think she dies.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like she's not immune.
Sandy. Yeah.
Summer Lovin', Clement and Sandy. Yeah, that's all I got really on this episode. It's fun to see Raylan though. I'm still enjoying just Raylan.
I enjoyed it
around.
I really enjoyed it a lot.
This show is Greek to me. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know who any of these people are. I'm not interested in it, unfortunately. I'm trying. I'm
Because you
throwing
never
it
watched
on.
the original series, right?
Yeah.
You never. Yeah.
And so I don't understand the Raylan mania that is overtaking the podcast.
That's because he's so skinny.
Imagine that you had read, like, I don't know, a lifetime of Greek, and then you encountered something that was truly Greek to you, which would be the next show we're going to talk about.
I think that Brian was trying to transition us out. So let me just say, that's Justified City Primeval, Season 1, Episode 3. Let's talk about Secret Invasion, Season 1, Episode 6. It's as if Brian had studied Greek his entire life and then watched Secret Invasion. Brian, you've been, I think, justifiably strict with Secret Invasion and its relationship to the source material. How'd you feel about the finale?
I hated it much less than everybody on Twitter led me to believe.
Okay.
I hated it less than I thought I would. It was kind of a cool moment. Gaia versus, I don't know, bad guy. That was kind of cool, seeing them both imbued with the powers of, you know, if you squint, all the characters that we know from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Bit weird that she would wait until he had all those powers to actually fight him.
Well, doesn't she get them at the same time as him?
No, she had him before them, I believe.
Because she gets in there with him as Fury.
Oh, you know what? Okay.
So
okay, that makes it make a little more sense.
Yeah, I thought that fight was great, and I thought, why have I been watching the rest of the show? Where was all of this cool stuff? Damn.
Yeah.
I definitely played Skyforce Invasion while I was watching this episode.
And then the ending felt so like pushed through, you know.
How did it end?
They're in the hospital in the room, and Fury is holding the gun at the president. And the president's holding the gun at Rhodey, and Rhodey's holding the gun at the president. And then that's not Rhodey. It's never been Rhodey. And it hasn't been Rhodey for years. It's an alien guy. Okay, that's
all right.
That's
then
really...
we go unplug all the people, including the real Rhodey, who's been in storage. Yeah.
This is also one of those moments where I have to disclaim the fact that I believe canonically a Skrull could only become somebody after they killed them, but they tweaked the rules to put them. No, that means they're in a pod and everything can be undone. And you guys know how I feel about when everything's made of rubber, there's no punishment for anything. And so I felt a little bit of that.
Yeah, I didn't know those rules. So the idea of like, oh, you squeeze out brain juice to impersonate things, never bothered me. What bothered me was the fact that it never made me care.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. Let me start with this.
We didn't even progress from the beginning of the show to the end of it. What happened?
Talos.
We killed Talos. Everyone hates the Skrulls still. They're kind of not allowed, but
only now they're justified in hating the
the president
Skrulls.
did the thing where he's like, I understand you, Nick Fury, and I will now turn against the Skrulls. And Nick's like, wait, why'd you go all make Earth great again on the Skrulls? Oh crap! I guess we'll have to deal with that in a movie now. Like, yeah, I don't know.
I just don't know what this was, and
why did we do this at all?
I mean, we know why we did it is so that we could set up
Invasion.
the next movie franchise. And
here's what I liked about Secret Invasion. Watching Samuel Jackson, because I always enjoy watching Samuel Jackson, and even in Secret Invasion, I enjoyed watching Samuel Jackson do his thing. I enjoyed Emilia Clarke's character 70% of the time. I think it was underutilized and used weirdly in a couple of places, but thought she was pretty cool. Loved seeing Talos until they killed him, because I enjoy that. What I didn't enjoy, what I don't have positive things to say about, are the story.
Yeah. So, it's not my job. Disney did whatever they did for whatever Disney reasons. In general, I would say that if you have a choice between making one race of aliens bad guys and then surprising us with a single alien of the bad guy race being good, that is a well-trodden territory that I think would work well. The idea of making the entire race good and then explaining, but there was one bad one, and now you need to think of the entire race as bad, is a bigger lift than I think that it's a more challenging road. And I wouldn't recommend it for an entire series on Disney Plus, but that's the one they took.
And that's how they position that's how they position the opposition force in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right? It's like, oh, it's a new people. They want to break out. They don't want to be a country anymore. Like, it does seem weird that this is how they're treating their antagonists.
I would point to the fact that many of these plans were made before they had acquired Fox and the ability to do Fantastic Four, which, again, just gonna put one in for Brian being right, with the fact that they managed to do Super Skrull without ever any Fantastic Four.
It's so weird. It's so weird that they didn't. I don't think the fact that they authorized this before the acquisition of Fox washes, because they had time. They had time to do something. They didn't want to acknowledge it for whatever reason.
I would imagine that the answer to that is they have something they perceive as better in the works. Like, let's not waste it on this.
We didn't want to use it on this.
Exactly.
Yep. I'll buy that.
Yeah.
I will not, however, by watching this again. I've watched it. Thank you. Secret Invasion.
To be clear, Brian Brushwood speaking, I didn't hate it. I just still don't know what it was. I have no idea what this was.
Yeah, I'm the same. I probably sound like I hated it more than I should. Because I'm just disappointed because I really enjoyed parts of it, and I was left drifting off and doing other things and not being held by it. Which I don't know. Maybe that's my fault. Maybe it's just not my type of story. I don't know. But it did not work for me.
Beatmaster 90 asks if I cared about any of it. I cared very much, but not about any one character. I cared about where they, Marvel is going with this, and I was left with similar to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. In fact, I would put them exactly on par. Like I could not tell the two of them apart.
Liked Secret Invasion more than Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Actually, yeah. No, I agree.
I mean, Samuel L. Jackson's good.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson's, he's good.
He's really good.
He's like, but yeah. I don't.
Anything else? That is Secret Invasion.
I wish there was more.
Season 1, Episode 6. All right, like I said, next week we will be talking about Good Omens, episodes 1 and 2. I know they're all out, but we're gonna watch them slowly. So we're talking about Good Omens, episodes 1 and 2 next week, and Justified City Primeval, episode 4. Now, if you're like, wait a minute, that's only 2 shows. Well, you got to get the after talk. That's where we talk about why we do stuff the way we do it. That's available to patrons at patreon.com/Cordkillers. Go support us there. You get Spoilerin time early, you get after talk, and you get to support the show. Like, the show does not happen without the patrons. So thank you for giving value back for the value you receive from our show. Until next time, everyone, spoil yourselves. You deserve it.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.